Hi guys, welcome to our video for React Native COVID-19 tracker. So in this video, we are going to be designing our list part over here and also this cases by region card. So this list is basically this is a flat list, the flat list which is provided by the React Native. So in the list, we have a custom row which will define it as a component, and in this custom row card we have the country name that is being affected and the amount of cases in the country. So first so let's get to it. First let's define the cases this card. First let's design the layout for this cases by region card. So for that we'll need to open a new card, assign the style to it, and inside this we'll open a new view, and inside the view we'll have text, cases by region, cases by region. So we'll have the text. We also have to give it an icon. So we have the icon and text over here. So now as you can see, by default every view in React Native has a flex direction of column. So in order to give it a flex direction of row, we'll have to define it manually. So we have both of these elements in a row now. Now let's give a little bit of styling to the text. Okay, first we'll have to place both of these elements in the center. So for that we'll apply justify content center and align items center to the main view in which these two elements are being wrapped. And then we can apply style to the text. Let's say styles dot cases by region. We'll give it a font size of 20 and font weight should be bold. And we'll also give it a little margin left so that they are both separated a little bit. Okay, we can also give it a height. Okay, not the height, just let's just give the padding over here. Yeah, let's increase the font size a little bit. Yeah, so we have cases by region text over here and the global icon. Now let's design our flat list. So for that we'll need to first basically we'll import flat list from React Native, and we'll open a new card, and inside that card we'll define a React flat list component. So basically flat list is a React Native component which allows us to iterate over the array and render the items in the array. So for that we'll need to define a new array. Let's call it COVID data. So we'll have an array of objects. Each object would have a country name. Let's say our country name is Pakistan, and the number of cases in Pakistan are, let's say, 1000. We'll define a few more countries. And let's say we have another country called India. India has 2000 cases, and let's say we have USA. USA has a lot of cases, I think. So let's say USA have 20,000 cases. Oh, I think USA has more cases, right? I think USA has around 1 lakh cases. maybe 5 lakh cases. I don't exactly know the number. There's a bad situation going on, and especially in USA. So as we have defined, so now we can give our flat list the data array that we have defined, and the another prop in this flat list component would be the render item. So render item would iterate through each of the data we have in COVID data array. So for that we just have to destructure the item in it, and let's just define a simple view in it to see if our list is working. uh, we have item dot country name. Okay, so yeah, our list is working. So now what we have to do is also define the cases. Why is cases not coming? Oh, it's case, not cases. Let's keep it cases, because yeah. Okay, so now what we'll have to do is we have a flat list, and we are iterating through our data array. But what we need to do is design this card component over here, which has the country name and also the number of cases in that country and the flag icon. So let's design a new component for it. I was designing the component. Okay, let's call it custom row. In this custom row, we are going to design the card, which we are going to show in our flat list view. So let's say that we have a card. Okay, we need to import the card from React Native paper first. So let's fetch the React Native paper import. Let's put it over here. Let's fetch the text view and style sheets as well from React Native. We don't need the flat list over here. Let's define a view inside over. Let's just put a text over here to test if our component works. Now what we'll have to do is import our component from custom row component from components. Okay, so we have our custom row component. Now we'll go to our flat list. So instead of the view over here, we'll just define our new component, which is basically a card row consisting of items. Yeah, so as we can see, we have each individual uh, card custom row over here now. So now let's design it. Okay, so what do we have here in our layout? So we have a card first. This is the card. So that's one view. And then inside that card, we have a we have a new view. Let's call this entire thing a view, which consists of the flag icon, the country name, and the cases. So I think you might know by now that how we are working in React Native views. So the number of views that we are going to have in this layout is going to be one view for this whole card, and then another separate view for these three to hold these three elements, this flag icon, country name, and the cases. And then inside that second view we'll wrap three individual views, one for the card, another for the country name, and the last for the cases. So let's get to it. Okay, so now let's define the card. Let's fetch the styling for the card. Later on, we'll define a separate custom component, a separate component for the card as well, since we are repeating the code in the custom row component. So it's better to make it a separate component, but let's work with it right now. We have a style sheet dot create, and we have our card style. Okay, so we have a card now. Let's design this card further on. So what we have is another view to hold the three elements that we are going to be designing, and our first element would be the icon. Let's fetch the icon from here. We'll give this icon the name, the flag name of the country later on, but let's just work with the layout part first. uh, we'll define another view for the country name and another new for the COVID cases. So right now all of these views in a column flex direction column. In order to bring them in a row, we'll give it a style of flex direction row. So now they are aligned to row wise. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have the icon over here. Okay, now over here we would need the country name. Let's say the country name is Pakistan. mm, Also we'll need another text for the cases. Let's say Pakistan has 2000 cases. Okay, so now we'll have to align these a bit. So what we can do is, in this view we can give padding. Let's give it a margin of 20, and for this view let's give it a margin of, okay, for this view let's, or maybe what we can do is, instead of doing that, instead of assigning individual margin to these, we can simply justify content on the main on the main view, and you can say space around. Yeah, so as you can see, when we applied the space around on our main view, it automatically aligned the our three items. Let's just give a little bit of margin to our text icon so that it's aligned with it to reduce the space in it. Also we'll give margin top to be 10. Sorry, we're giving it to the wrong view. We have to give it to the country view. Okay, let's reduce the. Okay, so now we have the icon, the country name, and the number of cases. Let's design the text for the country name. Also, we'll need to format the text for cases. So country name text would be font size, let's say font size 20 and font weight to be bold. It should be style, not style. Okay, perfect. And also we'll have to give the cases text to be the same almost. Okay, just have to give a little bit of margin top so that it's aligned properly. Okay, perfect. So now we have Pakistan as a country name and the icon as well and the cases as well. Perfect. But as per the design, as you can see, there's a card behind the list as well. So for that, what we can do is we have already defined the card behind the view. Yeah, it's fine. We already have the view behind the card component. So yeah, that's basically our list that we are going to work with. A little bit other thing that we can do is we have to give the icon for the country. So maybe in the next tutorial when we are going to integrate the APIs for these statistics to get the real-time data from that statistics, when we fetch the country code, we can apply the country code in the icon, and then we can get the country icon as well. uh, Maybe we can check it now. Let's see, get country icon image src. So this is the flags API that we can use. Yeah, so basically we can use this flags URL to fetch the country icon. For that, over here we will need to have an image background, not an icon, because the country icon is an image, not an icon. So we'll have to define it as the icon. We'll give it a source, and the source would be, let's say, this for now. Let's try to remove this and check. Okay, maybe we'll have to give the size of the image. So let's define a size. Let's give it a height of 10. and a width of, let's say, 20. Okay, so in our next video we will check why this image is not coming up. So for now, and we'll also try to fetch the data, the real-time data from the API. So till this video, let's recap what we have done. uh, we created a new card for the cases by region, and we define an icon in it and a text in it. Then we created a flat list. Inside that flat list we gave a data array, this COVID data, and we rendered the item. We created a new custom row that includes a card which would show the image of the country and the name of the country. And yeah, so what we can do as well is that we can, since we are getting items in the prop, we can send items in the prop. Let's say, let's call it item, and over here we can fetch the name of the country, uh, country name. Let's destructure it. Yeah, so we'll destructure the item, and from inside it we'll get the country name, and we can also have the country and the cases in the country. Okay, so in our next video we'll fetch the data from the API and try to show all the data over here in real time. Just let's give a little bit of padding to the mm, yeah, let's remove this styling on the image. Yeah, so far it looks good. In the next video we'll define how to fetch the data. So see you in the next video.